Hello, and welcome to the Homewrecker podcast. I am the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing trophy wife, the lovely Monique.
Hello.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm awesome.
Tremendous.
Yes.
What's going on? What's new? What's happening?
Let me see.
What's the haps?
So when this episode airs, this evening, I'll be doing my group inner child hypnosis session. So that Wednesday that this episode comes out, I'll be doing that night. And some on what we're going to talk about today with our special guest, some other stuff that I'm going to be doing for next month. So that's going to be exciting to share. And did you break your microphone?
I broke my microphone as we are recording here. I can't get this thing to stay still. So I'm just gonna have to hold it like this.
Oh my goodness, what did you do?
Remember the what was it like the
crooners and they hold the microphone?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Oh, do you want me to fix it?
No, it's okay. We're just gonna let it be. I'm gonna hold it like this for now. All right. Sorry, go ahead. Carry on. You were gonna be doing your group.
Well, so I'm doing my group inner child hypnosis when this airs, and then I'm also have something else for September that I'll be doing, which we're going to talk about in today's episode. But how about you? Anything with you?
Well, no.
All right. Why don't we get all of our stuff out of the way before we get to our guest?
Get plugs and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll do that now.
But yeah, no, I didn't mean for that long dramatic pause, but no, there's nothing new with me.
You had us thinking and wondering that maybe something would be happening.
I did. I kept you guessing.
Yeah.
But no, nothing.
Alrighty then.
That's it.
Moving forward. How can people find us?
On.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on. Well, we have a Twitter account.
We do at Homewrecker Pod.
And our website is
homewreckerpodcast.com.
There you go. And that's it. And,
YouTube and Brighteon.
YouTube, Brighteon.
iTunes, 5 stars if you like us,
follow,
please.
subscribe, whatever you do now.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to keep up. They're always changing these darn things.
Yeah.
And as far as you go on social media, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at _Monique Giselle _. And I also created a Twitter for my hypnotherapy. So it's for Understandings Hypnosis. It's at Monique P CHT. Because those are my credentials. I'm a CHT. I'm a certified hypnotherapist.
Look at you.
Yeah, I'm all fancy now. I got letters after my name. Yeah, and you can go to my website, tarotbymonique.com for organite incense. I almost said insects, but no, incense, candles, tarot readings, all that. And I have an Etsy shop, Wonders by Monique. And as I just said, my website for my hypnotherapy is now available, understandingshypnosis.com.
And of course, check out the show notes for all that stuff.
And how can people find you if you want them to find you?
Really can't find me anymore. I'm off everything, really. I mean, I have a Twitter still. It's still there, but I don't go on it anymore. At the Alex Arion. And then there's alexarionfitness.com. Check that out if you want.
Yeah.
But no, you're not going to find me. I'm difficult to find. You find me on this podcast, and that's about it.
And that's the way he likes it.
That's right. Damn it.
All right. So why don't we introduce our guest today?
Yes.
So our guest this week is my friend Karlene. So Karlene, I've talked about her on the show before. Her and I met in our hypnotherapy class. And she is originally from Manchester. We lived in the same city, shopped at the same metaphysical shops, and didn't meet until after she moved to Idaho. Go figure. But so she's usually known as Aerial Yoga Girl. But today, because she does aerial, but today we're going to talk more about hypnotherapy, and we're going to share some really fun hypnotherapy stories and some points of view and just some really fun information and good information.
Yeah, this was a really, really fun conversation. Yeah. I really enjoyed it a lot. She's awesome. Like you always talk about her and stuff, but I mean, obviously I'd never had a chance to talk with her or anything like that before, because I'm not in on your Zoom conversations that you guys have every Tuesday you guys meet up usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was fun. She's awesome. She's really cool.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I don't
A lot of
associate
fun.
with anyone
Well,
not
I
awesome.
know
Come
that.
on.
Of course. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but no, this was a really, really fun conversation. And we hope everybody listening or watching enjoys it because it was great.
Yeah, it was fun. So enjoy. All right, everyone. I am here with my friend Karlene, a fellow hypnotherapist. And just like me, she's certified. And that's actually how we met, was through our class that we did. And she's the one I've mentioned on the show before, who lived in Manchester forever. And then right before she started the class, moved to Idaho. So go figure, right?
Gotta love it.
Karlene, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, I'm excited to be here, but like Monique is a good friend of mine, so this is going to be fun.
Yes. We already started getting involved in like conversation. We're like, oh, wait, we should probably like record this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So what we were talking about was grounding, energy attachments. And so I brought up dry bathing, and I was explaining that is where you basically like, you use your hands, kind of shake off any negative energy. You can start at your heart center and like you push and get all the nasty energy off of
Alex, you gotta start doing it.
Yes.
So do you like have to say, what do you rub your hands together?
You rub
like
your hands together.
Okay.
And then you shake it off. And then you just rub. And you can do it like down your body, down your legs, and you just kind of brush it off. And then you can fluff your aura. So you like,
should you be like skin on skin? So like, should like the shirt be off?
No, you can leave your clothes on.
Okay, no, I'm
like
asking.
you can be like
I'm not
walking.
Trying to be a wise ass.
Yeah.
I'm really
So my friend Adriana, who I'm taking her metamorphosis course for my Reiki Master certification, she's the one who taught it to me, and she would say like, when I'm going food shopping at the grocery store and I'm leaving, it's like gotta get that energy off so you can like do your whole body.
Okay. I wish I had heard that from you like 3 weeks ago when I got back from Chicago.
I didn't think of that. I'm sorry.
How's Chicago?
Yeah. Do you want to share some stuff about Chicago and the energy?
Well, has anybody, like any listeners and you guys too, like if you've ever gone somewhere and during and then after, or even like just even walking into a room, or maybe for most people, this is actually going to work like every day. But being around certain people and certain places, like I'm very sensitive, I'm very empathic, and I didn't know that about myself, so I just always thought I was a hot mess until like a few years ago, and I was like, oh, I'm just sensitive and I need to control that. So what happens is like, so I go to a place like Chicago, and oh my gosh, the energy that, no offense, but I think I've spoken to a lot of people from Chicago who would say the same, like the energy of that area in a big city too in general is just, it drained me, and the conversations, and not the people that were that I was like engaging with, like my boyfriend's family was fine, but it was just like a lot of like outsider people, like walking around the city or walking around outside. It's just like the energy was just, oh. And so when I got home, Monique's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I literally needed like 7 days to recuperate from the whole thing. It was wild. So I wish I had known this whole like,
I didn't think of it.
Energy thing.
I'm giving her like all these things she can do to ground and to cleanse herself. I'm like, do you have like a river somewhere you can like jump in and let the water clean you? And like, I'm like going through all these like things in my head that I know of, where it's like, what about this? Did you bless your water? Did you charge your water?
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of all these things to help. And I totally forgot that. I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. Because what I was doing is what I normally do is I'll sit with it and meditate on it. And I was like, I need to get out in nature. And so I just spent like a few days, and I finally recharged because last weekend we had gone up for a 3.5 like day camping trip, but it was an outdoor concert up in Idaho in this place called Chalice. And it's like, oh, it was like 3,000 people out in the middle of the desert. And like Idaho desert's really hard to explain. Very dry here, very mountainous. And just, there was forest fires that happened around us. So it got a little smoky and stuff like that. And it was just the music and the people and the energy and being outside for 3 or 4 days, and just people had their kids, people were just happy, good. Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. And there was just dancing. It was great. So that really like to me, just being outside, being around good people, being in nature, good music. That's what clarified and cleared it all out.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah.
awesome. Nature,
Nice.
like nature, music, that's all, like music's really healing. And a lot of people
Yes.
don't realize
Sound.
that.
Yeah.
Sound is
Mhm.
very healing.
Yes.
It really is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I was thinking like,
Which is-
even think of like a mom singing to her baby, how it's soothing. It's that sound. It's the
Yeah.
way it resonates with us.
Yeah. And that whole like clearing out that energy too, you know, it's just part of well, it's part of like what we do with hypnosis too, like clearing out energy and helping people move things around in a way that's going to be more productive for them, you know. And
Yeah,
it's just
so-
really good to know this stuff. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
why don't you share your hypnotherapy journey? Because it didn't
Okay.
start when we met.
No, have you shared yours already on this podcast?
Yeah, I've talked about it.
Cool. Okay, so mine was okay. So I was in Manchester, and during COVID, I know I'd heard about hypnosis before. I had some experience with it, but I thought it was like, I don't know, interesting, cool, but kind of like just like a abstract idea. Kind of didn't really understand it. And I knew a girl who would do hypnosis to help people reach their Akashic records. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yes.
I met a girl once
Yeah.
that, yeah, like, and that's a whole other thing that I don't really feel confident speaking too much about it. I just know it's like an accessing of your soul's entire journey. It's like a library, right?
And it's not just your souls. It's like everyone and everything.
Yeah.
It's like this eternal library of information and memory of everything. Most people, so like from what I've learned with the Akashic records is you can go in and learn about yourself, but you're not supposed to do anyone else without their permission. And so that's,
I've heard that.
Yeah. And so I like that because it's kind of like being here on this earth as human, you kind of want that privacy. You don't want people just digging in your shit and, you know, snooping around.
Oh, for sure. There's something about in the spiritual world, you have to have boundaries, right?
Yeah. I think it's like,
Yeah.
it's nice and respectful. So, but yeah. So, and I actually know people who do read Akashic records, and it's fascinating because I've tried to read my own and I feel like I get blocked. And I think it's partly because I wasn't ready when I tried. I was kind of like, and it happens with hypnotherapy. When you're not ready, you block yourself.
It's
when
true.
You don't want to face stuff. If you're not ready for it, you block yourself.
Yeah. And so I had been trying, like you, I had tried to do Akashic records. I was trying guided meditations of my own. And like, I was just like, I maybe couldn't get it because I just wasn't ready for it. Right. And there was a girl I had met at a retreat center, and it's in Western Massachusetts. What is it called? Kripalu. Have you ever heard of Kripalu?
No, I haven't.
I'm probably saying it wrong, but Kripalu is like this big, huge yoga retreat center in Western Massachusetts in like the Berkshires. And it's awesome. It's really beautiful there. So I'd gone there for a retreat for a few days, and a girl I had met at dinner the first night, she was like, so I do hypnosis and I hypnotize people to access their Akashic records. And I was like, what? I was like, I want that. But the thing is, it never worked out. Like, we never were able to have a session together. I just think it wasn't meant to be, and which is fine. And then I kind of forgot about everything. And then when COVID happened and the lockdown happened, because in New Hampshire, we were locked down, at least I was, for 2 months. I had to close my business for almost 2 months, which was awful. And then during that time, I was just sitting around, and I was getting all these ads online for Dolores Cannon and QHHT, to becoming a QHHT practitioner. And I was like, well, what is QHHT? Who is Dolores Cannon? So I started to listen to her. Anyone listening to this podcast, if you've never heard of her, look her up on YouTube. Highly recommend that. She's written like 25 books. Over 30 years, she pioneered a way of doing past life regressions. And she's a contemporary of Dr. Brian Weiss and Dr. Mike, is it Michael Newton?
Michael Newton, yes.
Yeah, Michael Newton. So she's a contemporary of them too. But she didn't have the same, like, let's say, academic background as them, but they were all coming into the same thing in the 80s. Like, past life regressions were happening spontaneously. Like, people were not intending for them. So Dolores's husband was a hypnotist, and he was hypnotizing a woman who was overweight to lose weight. And she just sporadically, or spontaneously rather, went into a past life and she was in the 1920s, and she took on the persona of a woman in the 1920s, like a flapper. She had the voice, everything. So this is outlined in like all of Dolores's books, because once that happened, her husband was not interested, but she was. And she decided to take over, like, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to learn how to be a hypnotist, and I'm going to learn how to do past life regression. And it took her 30 years, and she had written about, I think it's 25 books. It might be closer to 23, but you know, whatever. And it's fine. And then she had a podcast at one time. It's still on YouTube. Her daughter is still continuing her legacy. And her daughter's actually doing online training. So during the lockdown, I saw these advertisements. I saw the trainings. I read a few of Dolores's books. I watched some of her stuff on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I signed up for the training. And then I had so many friends in Manchester through the studio I was owning at the time. And they were all willing to be my, I guess, volunteers. And we went, I've been all over the place. So I used to be a history teacher, right? So this is like, to me, this is amazing. It's like going into history. So every time, and I post this stuff on my YouTube channel, and people say I ask too many questions. Sometimes they'll comment, she's asking too many questions. But it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm so curious. I'm so in it. And like, I want to know.
Who says that? Like,
what do you, yeah.
Seriously?
Like, you know,
you're really asking that
I
question?
know.
Come on.
Dude, it's the internet, right? It's the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get like, I could go on and on about that, but anyways, like, yeah. So some people were just, whatever. So I had plenty of girls at the studio that were my, you know, volunteers, and I was working with them, and oh my gosh, the places we went and the things that they were talking about. And then they'd always everyone comes out of a past life regression, and it's kind of like, did I just make that all up? That's always the feeling. And I have that feeling too half the time, you know, like, did I just make this up? And it doesn't, and there's a couple answers to that. I don't know, but even if you did, does it matter?
Yeah.
Because what you experience and what you've created is so, your imagination is just, if it is your imagination, is just so perfect that it produces every time, every person I've hypnotized, every time the past life regression or whatever it is they go into is exactly what they needed. Every time, you know, it's a perfect lesson based on the stuff, the trials, the karma issues they're having, karmic issues, or health issues, and, you know, just emotional issues that they're going through. It's like this hypnosis session, whether or not they're really in a past life, and whether or not they really had a past life as this person in Egypt, or this woman trying to save her children from these Indians, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, it was healing for them.
Exactly. And that's what I try to tell people with past life regression, even just things in a hypnosis that come up. People, they ask, is it real? Did that really happen? Or is it just my mind making it up? And I look at it like, at the end of the day, did it help you? Because if it's real, that's awesome. But if it's your mind making it up, it's helping you. It's helping you get to where you need to be to learn something, to heal something. So I always look at it like, does it really matter? Because it's helping you. So regardless of whether you want to believe it's real or not, that's kind of secondary. The real thing is, did that session help you? Did you heal from it? Did you learn from it? Did, you know, whatever you were looking for, did that happen? And every case I've seen that I've done with people and that I've heard, everyone gets help. There's something that happens that is a positive change for them.
It's true. And it's really healing. And sometimes it's on many levels, you know. I just have to hold her because she's gonna bark.
That's okay.
But I hope she's allowed. And then what was I gonna say? Okay, so this is how I didn't even get to how I met Monique. So I'm not even there yet.
Don't worry.
So long. It's a hard story to tell shortly, but
it's our show. We can do whatever we want. Yeah.
I can just keep going.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So obviously doing the hypnosis, and then at the end of the lockdown, I decided I'm going to sell my business that I'd owned for about 7 years. I'm going to sell it. So I did. There was a girl who was fresh out of like dance school at UNH, and she was an aerialist, and she was a good aerialist. And I was like, girl, if you want this, it's yours. So she's been running my gym since then, our studio, and it's now hers. And I had an opportunity to explore the West, and because I wanted to move out here. And I really thought I was going to end up in Arizona, ended up in Idaho for a variety of reasons. But it was meant to be. I'm truly believe I'm supposed to be here. And everything since I've moved here has been just like synchronicities, including me signing up for another So I had signed up for a few online additional hypnosis courses, right? And one of them was the one where Monique was in it. So there was people in that class. There was like 11 women maybe from all over the country, Chicago and
the world,
Dallas,
like Belgium and
Belgium. Yeah, there's a lady from Belgium. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And there was people from all over, and Monique was the only person in there from Manchester, and me. She and I were both in the same city, but obviously 2,000 miles apart. And I just remember like just us being in the class, and over time, like Monique would talk about. We might have actually been partnered up on our first one together. I don't remember if it was you. I feel like you were one of the first people I worked with.
I can't remember if it was the first or second, but it was one of the early ones.
And I feel like in context, I don't know if I should say this, but like the class was obviously on Zoom. Yeah. So Monique and I have only virtually met. And so we met through the class. We would have, and like sometimes in the class, we'd have to hypnotize each other. And we all got to know each other. And I found out, Monique made her own incense, and she sold things through Etsy and did tarot readings. And I was like, dude, that's what I'm into. How do I not know you?
Yeah, well, like after, we started talking more, it's like we would go to the same metaphysical shops.
Yes.
Like we would never run into each other.
I know, it was weird.
It's crazy.
And so since then, Monique and I have like every Tuesday, we get on Zoom, and we just like, at first we were like, let's just hypnotize each other and just keep practicing and working out what we're doing. But we're doing that, but it's evolving into like, we're talking to each other about our experiences and our issues with clients. And like, Monique's had some issues. I've had some issues, like maybe some we shouldn't talk about. I think
I've shared one of the issues on the show. I've shared that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The person who was inappropriate, but like, yes. I like when I've talked about it, like I even said, like, it actually, especially after speaking with you, I will give you credit because, I took it as a lesson. And a lot of that was like with the stuff that you said to me. And because obviously like after it happened, I called Karlene and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I think this is a first. But I told her about my experience. And it was one of those things where I like, okay, it sucked what happened, but like, how can I learn from this? And it's like, I got a bad vibe. I told her I got a bad vibe. Yeah. And I still did it. And it was like, hello, you gotta, you got a bad vibe. That
comes back to the boundaries thing. It just comes back to boundaries, right? Of like, just like really being clear about what am I going to, boundaries with yourself. And I think the universe, that sounds so corny to say, but let's just use that term for now. Like things are presented to us and we have choices to make about what we do with them. And that's wisdom I got from a girl in deep hypnosis who was talking to her higher self. She went back to source and had this whole insight about everything's about choices, right? And so we're always presented with things, and then things make us feel an emotion, and then emotions cause us to make a choice, right? So like when the universe or whatever, source, God, us, presents issues to us like this guy or different difficult clients, maybe subjects, whatever. It's like you get a choice, and you learn and you grow and you evolve. And that's life. That's what life is.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
No, exactly. I agree. And one of the things that you just mentioned though, is the information that comes from people, from their guides and their higher selves. Sometimes I'm like, preach. Like, it, like, yes. And then other things I'm really like, cool. Damn, okay, I got to take notes on this. Like that's good information. Like this is good.
I have gotten so much wisdom, and like, I record everything. I take notes like you do too, Monique. Mm-hmm. And then I usually will edit out a chunk of that wisdom and then put it on my YouTube channel. Cause I'm like, this is gold and this isn't just for me, so I truly believe that we're given the clients we need And sometimes through them, you get an experience that's a lesson, or sometimes you get an experience that's like beautiful, like a blessing. It's just like, oh my gosh, like this wisdom is amazing. And so going back to what we were saying is that, so Monique and I would start sharing stories about like, she woke my eyes up to about spirit attachments. And that became a thing in my life that was very prevalent for about a month or so in the spring, because we were dealing with spirit attachments and releasing them through hypnosis, right? And then she and I were working with each other on that, and then hypnotizing each other. And now we've just kind of like, it's evolving still, where we're talking about collaboration. We're working on like doing these mystical meetups, and I'll let you talk about that. And just like also like how we run our businesses, you know, how we do our whole process and our experiences and what we're learning from every client we have. It's really cool. It's awesome to be working with her.
No, and I love it because it's like my heart is just so full. It's like, oh, I'm so happy that we found each other. And one of the things that's so wonderful is like we became friends, but it's like, even though we have our own separate businesses we're creating, it's like we're becoming business partners in a sense. It's like we're tag teaming.
Yeah.
And it's not about like, how can I explain it? Because it's not about getting clients. It's about just like getting the information out. And it's like to find somebody who's not like, oh, you know, let's do this stuff and charge people for it and get money. It's like, let's get the information. If people want to book with us, awesome. But let's just like talk about this stuff and make people aware of this and have these conversations for people to realize like, here's stuff that maybe you didn't think about, or you can explore this. And it's really exciting. And
it's an internal journey.
Yeah.
Hypnosis is such an internal journey of healing. And I think right now in this day and age, we are so externally overstimulated, externally motivated, externally distracted, externally driven, to the point where we can't even make up our own minds half the time because we're so confused by all the distraction. Whereas hypnosis is a reminder to hone back into your internal experience, yourself, and healing yourself, right? And that's what I said on my website. The very first words are heal yourself, because that's what I believe. And you wrote your business is called Inner Standings. It's the same deal. It's the same thing, because we both understand the same thing, that hypnosis is a powerful tool. And we're not here to get your money. We're here to help you heal. And hypnosis can heal you on a variety of levels because it works with a part of the brain that normally isn't stimulated, in my belief, in today's culture and society. Sorry about that was my TED Talk.
No, I love it. And I'm just
great.
like, preach, yes.
Yeah, right? You're just like, I see you like nodding. You're like,
Like,
because you get it. You get it.
Were you going to say something?
No, that's like everything you were saying. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
And Alex, you've experienced it. You've experienced it. So I'm curious, like, would you want to share? Because I'm sure people who have not experienced regressions or the work that Monique and I do, you have, and you're the husband of Monique. And I'll tell you, my partners, past and present, do not want me hypnotizing them. So you are a brave, brave man.
Oh, okay.
And I love you for
thank
that.
you. Well, thank you. I mean, what did we do? We did the inner child.
We did inner child.
Right.
We've done parts therapy. Gestalt therapy was big. I tried to work with him during there was a wrestling match where he got knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
And he wrestled the entire thing. And we tried to go back to the memory, and we were able to get some more memory of stuff happening. It was kind of like some little bits and pieces. It wasn't the whole thing, but we were able to get like little bits, but it was very difficult. And it just, because I was like, if you get knocked unconscious, is your subconscious still going? So
I got to say that it had to have been, because how the hell did I do everything that I did?
Yeah.
It had to be my subconscious took over.
Is it like highway hypnosis? I know it's not the same, but like, you know, like when you're driving, but you're not, like, maybe you're even checking your phone, but you're still able to drive safely or whatever, like drive in the right direction and all that.
Well, watching him, you could tell something was wrong. His body was physically not.
I wasn't like, because
right.
I watched it back on like the videotaped it, so I was able to watch it back after. And I mean, yeah, you could tell obviously there. I mean, I guess to the untrained eye, you probably couldn't tell there was anything wrong, But for anybody that like, if you were there in the crowd, you probably wouldn't have a clue if you'd never seen me wrestle before. But if you'd seen me, you could tell like I was like a half step off. I was a little bit
His body was
slower
more
than
limp,
usual.
too.
I was really like kind of limp, but I looked like I was just kind of like going through the motions, but without any oomph or pep or any. I wasn't very animated like I normally would be. So but it was weird because we had like this complicated sequence of stuff that had to happen at the end, and it did it all.
I was going to
nothing
ask,
got
like,
messed up.
Isn't it a choreographed situation? So you just carried out the wrestling choreography, let's say.
Did the entire thing. The guy that I was in there with who knocked me out, he was like kind of talking me through it, I guess. But he said I was unresponsive. Like when he was talking to me, he said I wasn't. He's like, what were your eyes? Dude, the lights were on, but nobody was home, is what he said to me.
Wow.
And there was Cherie was out there too. I had like a female manager that was on the outside too, who was trying to talk to me, and she said, "You were out of it. Like you could see your eyes were open, but you were gone. You were not there."
Wow.
And for me, like my actual experience was, I remembered walking up to the guy, because what happened was I walked in and he was a big dude. Like I'm not that big. I'm like 5'6", 5'7". 5'7". At the time I was like, I don't know, 220 pounds. And he's legit like 6'8", 350 pounds.
Did
so I walked up
like
to
WCW?
him. Yeah, he was a big dude. So I walked up to him and I'm like, kind of, I was a cocky bad guy, a heel, as they call it in wrestling.
Got it.
And I was going up, getting in his face, putting my fingers on his chest, and I slapped him. And then he slaps me back. That was like, a planned thing that we were going to do. And when he slapped me, he got me just right in the right spot of my jaw, and it just knocked me out.
He like the way he dropped was like an accordion fold.
Yeah, like I just dropped.
Like it's like his knees buckled and kind of went like in and down.
I was done. Yeah. And that was all I remembered. And then the next thing I remembered was I'm sitting down in a chair, and I'm in the back in the dressing room area, and there's a bunch of people around me, and they're all like, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I just came out of wherever I was, and I'm just looking at everybody like, "The hell what's wrong with you all? Like, what's going on? Like, why is everybody around me? Get away!" And I'm like, "Am I up? Like, don't I have to wrestle? Like, what's going on?" And they're like, "You already wrestled." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And at the time I had like really long hair, and I got up, and behind me was a mirror. And I looked in the mirror, and my hair's all messed up. I'm all sweaty. I look down, and my chest is all red from getting chopped and smacked around and everything. And I had no pain. My body felt no pain at all. I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel like I had been through a 15, 20-minute match at all. I felt completely fine. And I was in no pain, no headache, nothing. And I'm just like, but I was confused. Like, what? I'm looking in the mirror like, I wrestled? What are you guys talking about? It was just a crazy thing. So I've always wondered, where the hell did I go? Where was I while I was going through the motions there?
He did not remember coming out of the curtain, walking to the ring. So I actually had him start when we went into hypnosis. I had him start at arriving, like parking the car. And arriving at the place, and then kind of walking through and like, okay, let's fast forward. And now we're here.
Yeah. She got me to remember up to the point where I got slapped.
And then you got slapped and you were like, oh, my jaw.
Was I?
Yeah. Oh, you don't remember that?
I don't remember.
So he was talking like, oh, my jaw, it hurts. So we were able, from the moment the lights went out, we got past that, and we were getting points. We remember like leaving, getting back to the room. But like we were having some interference, but we were able to get information. And it was really interesting because it was like, I know there's information there. Yeah. And so we were able to get some of that, but it was so funny because the way he's like holding his face, it's like where he got slapped, he's like, oh, my jaw, like he's going through it again. But this time, instead of being unconscious, it's like he's talking through what's going on. Yeah. And it was really cool.
It was weird, but again, like, I relived all that, I guess, but it was just strange that when I came out of it at the time, back then, whatever it was, 10 years ago, whatever it was, I didn't feel pain in my jaw. Like I said, I felt no pain at all. Everybody wanted me to go to the hospital and get checked out. I'm like, why? I feel fine. Like there's nothing wrong. I'm fine.
I even asked you, I was like, do you want me to take you to the hospital?
Yeah, and I'm like,
you're
no,
I was gonna say,
good.
you had a concussion, sir.
But I didn't. I probably did.
He was concussed.
I probably did for sure. But I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I did. I felt fine. It was the weirdest thing. I never ever experienced anything like it.
I feel great.
Yeah, I did. It was the strangest thing. I'm looking in the mirror. I see I got like marks all over my back. My chest is all beat red.
How many people pulled the Chris Tucker? You got knocked the fuck out.
Oh God, yeah. Like that was the thing.
Now,
yeah.
Can I ask like real quick? I just
Yeah.
thought of this. So I'm going to interject. Have you done a past life regression yet?
No, not yet.
Oh my gosh, let's do it. Not right now, but like,
So yeah, that's something we're working on because we've had some blocks come up that we're working on with Alex. So
Oh.
it's kind of taking our time getting there because
Yeah, there's something in me that's blocking from getting
certain
to a
bits
certain
of
I am
information.
so jealous. You guys are just goals because like I'm telling you, like I was always told I had like a hypnotist like mentor, and he was like, don't ever do hypnotism on your partner because like that was his belief, right? Everyone, and that's what I'm learning too, is like everyone has their beliefs. Remember, Monique, we can bring this up in a second. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was told to not hypnotize somebody who had an alien attachment.
Yeah,
I was told by all these people in this all these like hypnotist gurus who've written books and stuff. They were all telling me, and my hypnotist teacher that she and I both had, they were all telling me, do not hypnotize somebody with an alien attachment. That's a bad place to go. I did it anyways, and I'm okay. The alien was offensive, but he didn't attach to me.
but that's the thing. It's like the person hypnotized was okay, and you were okay.
Yeah, but the point I guess I was making was like that. Like you can't take everyone's opinion. I don't care who they are. I don't even care if it's Dolores Cannon. Oh, I love her and I respect her and all that. But like you have to find the truth for yourself. You can't just go on a Facebook group forum and post a question because you're gonna get a grab bag of perceptions and responses that are going to be almost meaningless. So I was told, circle back. I was told by hypnotists, don't ever try to hypnotize your partner. And I was like, well, why? And they're like, because it's just not a good idea. And I was like, well, why? And then my last partner, and then the one I have now, they both are super hesitant to do it. So I think it's so cool. I'm so like Alex, you're like a hero. I just think it's so cool that you will like, you're comfortable enough in who you are and in your relationship and with this woman you love that you're like, yeah, of course, let's do it. You know?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. Like,
right?
Why wouldn't I trust her? Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't I trust her?
We trust each other.
Yeah.
We're open. So it's like, you're in control of hypnotherapy. So if there was somewhere he didn't want to go, we wouldn't go there. And that's okay. But like a lot of the stuff I'm doing, like I already know about, like he's told me about stuff. So it's like, what's hard for me is drawing the line between hypnotherapist and wife, because there are times where it's like, I can't get emotional. And I, like part of me just wants to be there in comfort, but the other part of me is like, no, we got to do this work. Like, okay. And I have to dig. So I have to switch to hypnotherapist mode because it's like, I'm not going to help him if I coddle him and say, oh, okay.
Or
never
comfort.
mind.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like, okay, let's go. Like trying to push. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most loving thing you can do. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, there were times when I was in, I can't remember which session or which time or whatever, but where I was like, I didn't think of her as my wife at the time. I was like, okay, you were not my wife at the time. It was, and that's going to sound weird, but that's how I
was the hypnotherapist.
Yeah. You were the hypnotherapist. And I was
you were able to compartmentalize the actual experience.
So even though I was having a tough time, and like if there was one time where I was really crying, it was like I just wanted to like hug her, like someone, I guess, like you get emotional, you just want to like hug someone or hold someone, be comforted. But she didn't. She stayed the path. She did what had to be done and got me out of it.
Who hugs everybody.
And then afterwards, when I was out of hypnosis and everything was good, then, I got the comfort and the hugging and everything. And I was like, wow, that was intense. That was crazy. Like, holy cow. Like, wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, I mean, I guess for anybody that's listening that's never been hypnotized, this is the first time I got hypnotized was by Monique. I didn't know if I could be or not. And it's true when you say that you're in control, like meaning the person being hypnotized, you are in control, because I mean, if you wanted to ask me something and I didn't want to go there, I wouldn't. It's weird.
Right.
It's really hard to explain it.
You're in more control than you think.
Yeah. You have to almost experience it to know like what we're talking about, I guess, because like you're hypnotized, but you're still like aware of what's going on. So like, if the hypnotherapist asks you to, asks you something you don't want to answer, you're not going to answer it. Like,
I think
you're conscious enough to know what's going on.
You are. And that's what's the funny thing about hypnosis. You're hovering in this gray area between being awake and being asleep. And you're hovering in this like strange place where you are in control. And I think people get the wrong idea, because we usually think of hypnotists as what we see on in movies and TV, like Hollywood. Exactly. Hollywood ruins everything. They've ruined aliens, they've ruined UFOs, they've ruined ghosts, and they've ruined hypnotism. They ruin everything. And they do.
Fuck you, Hollywood.
And also stage hypnotism gives such a false idea, because the people who do stage hypnotism, who go into hypnosis on stage, they're actually like, they could at any point in time stop. You don't have to do anything the hypnotist is saying. You're not under his control or his spell. But I think if you're more suggestible and you want to put on a show because you're on stage and you're in that half asleep, half awake place, which is kind of a drunk thing. Like, I'm comparing it to being drunk, but it's not. But think of it like how, like your inhibitions are a little lowered and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have fun with this. And he's saying to act like Britney Spears. I'm going to act like Britney Spears because it's going to be fun. And you're in that space. But I think that gives a false pretense that Monique or me or anyone is in complete control and we've got you under our spell and we're going to now manipulate you or go into places of your brain that we shouldn't go into, and we're going to leave you worse off. And rule number 1 is always leave the client or patient or student better off than when they came to you. Rule number 1. You never ever you never leave the session without giving them something that betters their life, right? And that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with that too, it's so funny because I'm all about protection. So, and we got to talk about the aliens because I don't want that to go by, but it's like,
and we got to talk about attachments.
Yes.
Like aliens and attachments.
Yes. Cause like, I am so about protection. I have like this giant piece of black tourmaline. I have like black tourmaline everywhere. I have shungite. I have all these different protective crystals, and I work with crystals and I use my pendulum, but it's like, I like one of the awesomest things I'll share. I was doing a session with somebody and I do a thing where I have them kind of ground and release negative energy through their feet, but then I have them take in positive energy, and it's just negative coming out one and positive going in. And I use my hands. So I'll put like protective energy, like using my hands and like, wax just like on, my hands. Yeah. But I'm like using my hands to put that energy and like work it. And then like I use my hands to guide the energy, the negative and the positive. And so, one of the people I was working with who is amazing and I love her, but I don't want to say her name because I didn't get permission to use it. So I didn't think of the story till now. But so she was saying like, I could feel like protective energy over me. I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome, because I was like doing it. And then she's like, I could feel like the negative energy going out and the positive going in. I was like, what side? Because I was curious if the side I was doing, and it was the side that I was pushing it out on was what she felt it leaving. And I'm like, I don't care what anyone says. It's like energy is real, Reiki, using your hands, moving energy, like helping people, like it works. And so I'm all about protection because I need to protect myself, but I need to protect these people that I'm working with. and so I am like so about protection. So it's like, I never want somebody, like I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to keep them as safe as possible and do as much as I can to help them.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And then your heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
Well,
I've had this conversation with other people, and like, I know it's happened to me and it's happened to my friends where it's like, am I really doing the right thing? I think we've talked about this before. It's like, am I doing the right thing? Am I really helping people? But I think the fact that we think about that right there shows like we're in it for the right reasons, because we care. Yeah. It's not like, oh, how much money can I make? It's what is the best way I can help people? And am I doing good by doing this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And speaking of helping people, you mentioned the guy with the aliens. So
yeah,
share
what is
this
this
story.
About? Can you share this? Is this like allowed?
To an extent for sure. So there was a person that I had hypnotized in front of people, and then he felt that whenever he went into hypnosis, he was blocked immediately. Now I've had this experience before with previous people, like a couple of different people who, and in my belief, when you get a block, that's just your mind, your consciousness protecting you and saying, we're not going to go there. We're just not going to go there. So this gentleman, I felt, trusted me enough, and he did. Well, I don't feel, he told me he trusted me enough that we were going to do a follow-up session, because he said he saw 7 grays in front of him, and they were like this, like not like maybe crossing their arms, but that was their energy of like, nope, this is a wall. She's not going to cross this. And so he came out of hypnosis when I was in the middle of just doing my whole thing with him. He went into hypnosis. Like you can see it. And this is actually recorded because people watched it on a different show. And he like collapsed down. And then he came out of it when I started to talk. I don't even remember what it was, but I might've said something about protecting, or this is a good experience for him. And then all of a sudden he just came out of it and his eyes were opened up, because that's what happens. So we did a follow-up session in private, and this gentleman had felt that these aliens, these grays, he had visitations, abductions, and he felt that they were basically controlling his actions in a lot of ways. And so he wanted to open up a communication with them. So I was going to assist with that. And so me and another hypnotist who was his good friend, she kind of like sat back and watched while he and I did my work with him. And I was advised to not do that session by like, I mentioned this like maybe 20 minutes ago, like we were advised, do not do it. I talked to Monique about it. And when I talked to Monique, so I checked back in with her and I was like, this is what I'm being told. You know who these people are who are telling me not to do this, because the aliens are going to become attached to me and like all this bad things are going to happen to me. And I just was not buying it. I was like, no, I don't feel this way. And I feel that I'm a sovereign being and I have power over my energy and myself. And I don't believe in that. And I do not believe that could happen. And I believe if it was possible, I would protect myself. And so I talked to Monique about it, and her insight was exact. I just told her what was going on. And she told me what she felt. And I said, that's exactly how I feel. And I'm going to go forward now. So I opted to do the session with the gentleman. Yeah, because it's like, you know what I mean? Like she and I just like, I feel like she and I are in the same placement and we're in the same energy and we just, you know what I mean? Just get each other. And I wanted her idea on it. And she said exactly what I was thinking. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I went through with it, and we went in, and it was one being that came forward, and besides insulting my tattoos, which I think are freaking badass, but okay. It was fine. I mean, and I don't believe I want to go any further into exactly what happened during the session, because I think it's too private and it's very personal to this gentleman. But I will say that it was a productive session. And afterwards, I did not feel in any way affected in a negative way. And I almost wanted to, there's a part of me that almost wanted to go back and say something to those people like, dude, I did it and it was fine. And I don't know why you live in fear, because the number one thing for me on the side is that like fear. I don't live my life in fear. And that I'm talking about the bigger picture of what's going on in the world right now and in this country right now. And all that stuff. I just don't. And in my work and in my career, I do not believe in living by fear.
How can you help people if you're afraid to?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't mean to say it's ridiculous, but it was just too much. It was too much fear around it.
I look at it, if I'm in over my head, that's when I say, okay, I need to refer you to somebody else because I'm not comfortable. I don't know enough to help.
Yeah, know your limitations, right?
Yeah, but just to be like, ooh, I don't know, something could happen to me from this. Like, that's not what it's about. It's like,
and what a strange place to come from.
Yeah.
Like, don't hypnotize this person because you might get hurt. Like, or you might get maybe affected. That really, yeah.
I might get hit by a car, walk crossing the street too, but.
So this person had aliens. Like what we see in like Hollywood depictions or whatever, like a great, like that's how it was described.
That's how he's perceiving them.
Okay. And then everybody you talked to was saying that the gray aliens are going to attach themselves to you.
Yeah. Gray aliens. Yeah. These hypnotists. So it's funny. The metaphysical world can be funny because because again, it's a grab bag. And so I think a lot of it's conjecture. And I'm very much in the between spot where I do believe in metaphysical. I practice in the metaphysical. My daily, like I'm surrounded by my tarot cards and my incense and sage and all the crystals, and they're all around me. You just can't see them. But I also like to keep myself grounded. I think a lot of people who get into metaphysical don't get grounded. And I feel like that's what's going on is like people are like, oh, aliens are going to attach to you. It's like, that's a little ungrounded for me. I think we need to kind of settle down a little bit and realize that like, I don't know, my words were, and this might not resonate with people, but my words are, that's not within my reality. So yeah, I don't believe that.
And it's funny because like, I was honest with you and I remember thinking she might not like what I'm going to say, but
oh gosh, no, I wanted it.
But that's the thing. It's like, I'm going to be honest. She asked me for my opinion. I'm going to be honest. And because, it's like, I respect you. I was like, I'm going to be totally honest.
Yeah.
And, it ended up, we were both on the same level. Like we agreed, but it was like, you just said, okay, there's this. And what do you think? You didn't tell me this is what I think. It was just like, what do you think? So I was like, I don't know if she's going to agree with me or not, but here's what I think.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. But it's also like what I felt too, because that's kind of like everyone has to go by their gut feeling and your gut told you this is fine.
Their internal guidance system.
Yes.
We listen so much to external and that's such a thing. It's like, go inside, go back to you, like check in with yourself, and yes, I asked for an outsider opinion, Monique, but her response was exactly what I was feeling anyways. And I'm still in a place in my life where I do kind of need a little external from a trusted source, a little external push to be like, just to get that. I think I needed a little permission to be like, this is okay. And it was okay. It was fine.
Permission to go with how you feel inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
that was my learning. Yeah. And that was my learning experience from that particular situation, I think you get something out of everything.
Yeah. And everyone has a different journey. So, Alex and I don't know if it was the last episode we did or the one before, but I was talking about hypnotherapy. I was like, yeah, I use my pendulum and I'm talking about the stuff I do. He's like, well, don't give away, like everything you do. And I was like, it's not like I'm giving away my 11 herbs and spices, it's just like, and I said, it doesn't matter. Like you can take what I say and try to do it word for word, but everyone is so different and they all have like a uniqueness about them.
Yeah.
You and I could hypnotize somebody and they could have two totally different experiences because you have your style and I have my style and we could be saying the same words.
And it's the energy in it too.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing too, when you try to copy somebody, and this isn't just in our field, but in anything, when you're trying to copy somebody, it's going to fall flat because your energy needs to be infused into it. And then you need to own it, right? You have to own the words you're saying. So I liked the idea of just taking a little bit, like experiencing a lot and taking a little bit from all those different experiences and then creating your own secret sauce with your own energy, infusing your own, right? Your own soup or whatever.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, because it's like, and that's what makes it so great. There's so many wonderful people out there who do hypnotherapy, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, I
And they
feel
have
like
different
nobody's the same.
styles. Yeah,
Yeah,
they have
they
different
do.
styles, different voices, different scripts, different technique. Oh my gosh. And it's just like any other relationship. Like no two relationships are the same, right? So no two hypnosis sessions are going to be the same. You know, the energy is different. It shifts. It moves. Yeah.
Exactly. So, do you want to share any fun hypnotherapy stories, maybe some past life regression or life between lives, or just anything like fun to share for people?
Well, Monique, I want to talk about the one that Monique did with me.
Yes.
Because that was the most recent one I've had.
Okay.
And the reason I want to talk about it is because I keep getting flashes of it. And so I've noticed, so if any of your listeners are on board with third eye opening, I do practice a lot of like work on third eye opening, whether it's meditation, whether it's using, let's say, oils or using certain crystals or even taking medicinal mushroom, things like that. I do different things to open up the third eye, and even just going out in nature. So but the reason I'm rambling about that is because since I've been doing that kind of work, I've been seeing a lot more visions, whether I'm asleep or awake. I see a lot of colors. I see colors and auras on people, but I'll see colors when I do hypnosis. I see flashes of light. And I also get visions of things. And a lot of the visions I'm getting are from this particular past life during the summer, that Monique and I did together. So she had hypnotized me, I want to say in May. I think it was May.
Yeah.
I think so. And
yeah.
And we were just kind of like, I think we were doing it for fun, just to play around with it. And I remember now. I kept seeing a vision of, the word is fjord, Fjord. That's not a word I say. It's not a word that's in my, that's,
I had to look it up.
Fjord, it's not really in my vocabulary. Fjord is a word that maybe I learned in like, 5th grade spelling class, like, and then you forget about it, like, or in geography class, like you just kind of forget about it. Right. So fjord. And so I kept seeing what I believe is a fjord, with these tall alpine trees and this water and these mountains. And I do live in Idaho. That's a common thing to see, but it's nothing quite like what I see here in Idaho. It's quite different. It's more Eastern. And so she decided, let's do it. Let's go into hypnosis. And we went to a past life. And I mean, if I can talk freely for a second, like,
Absolutely.
I got in it. Like I looked down, and even now, like when I talk about it, my brain just brings the visuals right back to me. So I'll look down at my body when I describe it. But like I was wearing like these boots that are similar to boots that I bought in this current lifetime that I fucking love. And it makes me wonder, because I really like boots with the fur. And so
maybe that's why.
In this life, I was a fur trapper, and I had a lot of fur on me. And it's like, and then it made me think, like, I fucking love, I love clothing. Thank you. Thanks for permission. I didn't ask for what we started. I'm so sorry. And so like, I like fur in my clothing and stuff. And then in this lifetime, I was a burly man with reddish hair, big guy, tall. And I wore like these boots that like tied up and like had fur on them. And I was a fur trapper. And I could feel like this big belt I had around my waist. And I was like telling her, I'm like, yeah, on the left side, I got my leather satchel, and that's where my knife is. And on my right side, I got my gun. And on this side is my pelts. And like, I could feel the hair, my scruffy, scraggy hair. It was like dirty and thick and just, I don't know, manly, burly. I was not.
You were a manly man.
I was a manly man, and I was I feel like a French fur trapper, maybe not French, but I was a fur trapper. And so the experiences was like, and there was a woman with me that was a native, and I recognize that person as someone I know in this life now, currently know. And I was very protective of that person as a Native American, and very, she was very quiet, kind of mild mannered, and just, I felt very protective of her. And it's a tragic story, but we go through the whole thing where I see these mountains and the water, and maybe it was a bay or something, and these alpine trees just going on, and just thinking about how I just didn't want to be in civilization and how this was the way it was supposed to be, and I didn't like the city. We came across some miners, and I even like remember taking on the accent of one of the miners and being like, pretty funny to see a white man with an engine. And like, it was like, but it wasn't quite like that, but it was this language they were using, and my stomach even getting sick, like, oh boy, like, is he going to hurt her? And like, and then we came across these two gentlemen on horseback, and one of them, remember?
Yes.
One of them I didn't like, and I had a really iffy feeling, an icky feeling about him, and I was worried. And then she keeps, so in past life regression, the technique is you keep moving them forward to another important day, another important day. So she moved me forward to an important day where it came out to be that that gentleman that was on the horseback that was making me nervous, I was really focused on him. He ended up indeed killing the Native American woman, who's a person in my life now that I'm very close to. It was very upsetting. And I'm even gonna cry now. Like, that's what's so weird. Like, you get weird about, like, you get emotional when you go into past lives. Like, it's almost like you lost that person now. And the feeling when that person had passed was so much anger, so much resentment, so much like just pain, and just like I wasn't able to protect this person. And so it's funny because now in the life that I'm having now with this person, it's like, it's almost like we're balancing that out now. We're balancing out what happened. We're together, we're reunited. And it's almost like that same feeling of like, okay, like we're going to be all right. And like, I almost have this protection feeling inside me towards them now. Like, I need to make sure that they're going to be okay. And like, I need to be near them. So it's kind of funny like that. Yeah. That was a cool experience.
How do you know that the person from that this person is the same person? How
I know what you're asking. Yeah. It's so funny. How do I say this? It's the strongest feeling you could imagine. And here's how I'm going to say it. When I first met him, the first time I met this, it's a guy now. When I first met him, it was like this, like time stood still when I first met him. This is relevant. And it was like, I know you, I remember you, and I need you in my life. And then so when I was in the past life regression and hypnosis, it was that same feeling of like, there you are. That's you. And when I first met him, that was the feeling too, like, there you are. There you are. Okay. Have you ever met someone where you've had that, where you just see their eyes or their body and you're like, I know you. There you are. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So
I don't.
So let me explain for me. I was doing the past life regression, and I was in a life before I incarnated to lives on Earth. And so remember, you were there. I told you how you were there.
Okay. Yes.
Because it was like, I felt you. So it's
Okay.
hard to explain. It's not like I see you, I know you're there. It's a feeling. It's a feeling you have with a person. So like, if I were to, like, you know, seeing my mom in a past life, she was in one past life, she was my aunt. But I was like, that's my mom. Like, I feel that, like, that's my mom. It's just, it's hard to explain, but it's a feeling.
So it's a feeling that you get.
It's like a feeling and an inner knowing.
Okay.
And that's a lot of stuff that comes through. It's like feeling and inner knowing.
I wonder if it's, and I know I'm conjecturing here, but I wonder if it's easier when you're just a little bit more, I'm using this word very loosely, but more psychic. I think like you get more attuned to when you meet someone, how they make you feel. And so some people give me a really bad feeling. Like, I've met people where I've met in this life, I met them and I'm like, oh no, like this, like within moments, I'm like, I do not want you near me. And then in a past life regression, one of those people that gave me that feeling had killed me in a past life. And it was, yeah.
Holy jeez.
She poisoned me. She poisoned me. And every time I was around her, I haven't seen this person in years, but every time I was around her, I would get really sick to my stomach. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, I did a past life regression, and she had poisoned me and killed me. And
wow.
Yeah, so the second I saw her picture before I ever met her, and I remember seeing her picture and being like, nope, I don't like that person. I don't know why. I just don't. And it's happened with people I've dated. Like I've seen this has actually happened. The last 3 people I've dated, I've seen their picture before meeting them. And like, I'd be like, yeah, I know this person and I need to meet them. Like you just get this feeling, and it's almost like, to me, I feel as a magnetism, but I'm very sensory. So it felt like I need to go towards them and meet them. So that's how it kind of works for me. That's my experience. But yeah, it's an inner knowing for sure, Monique. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think anyone who's just more in tune with their feelings, like they pick up on it easier, and people who trust the information. It's like when you get that feeling, like when you do past life, where are you? You don't know where you are. Like looking around, it's not like there's a sign saying you are here. It's just, you know it.
You're
it's
guessing. Sometimes you're guessing.
Yeah, like the information comes to you and it's like, it's this, and so things play out. And some stuff, it's just like, it because the information is there.
Yeah. I wanted to also, like, this is kind of sidetrack, but I like also sometimes past life regression will give you answers to stuff like why do you not want to have kids, or why do you want to have kids, or why are you attracted to the same sex, or why are you attracted to this or that? Like it really does answer those things for you in a lot of ways. It's really fascinating. Why you have a recurring dream. If you have a recurring dream that's unexplained, it can be from a past life. It can be something that your soul's kind of holding on to.
We've brought up one of his recurring dreams on the show before, but I think you should tell her your recurring dream.
I haven't had it in a while now.
Did you identify the source of it?
No, I don't know what it means, where it came from. No idea, but I've had it for years. It's been a couple months since I've had it now, but I ever since I was a teenager, I would have this dream and it would just happen like pretty regularly. It would be, it's me, like as I am now, but I'm running, and then I can run really fast, and I jump, and I'm jumping. Like when I jump, I'm actually in the air running. So like kind of like I'm flying in the air, and I can get higher. Like I always remember being up above the tree line and just running up like above the power lines in the tree line, and my feet going like this, and then I can't control exactly when I come back down, but I always end up coming back down. And when I come back down, I end up on all fours, and I'm running like on my feet and my hands, but as a human, like as my body. And then I'll just do that. I'll run like that. And then I'll jump up again from all fours and go up in the air, and I'm flying again. And like, I can't control when I come down, but I do eventually come down. And I always get that feeling when I'm in the air, like, is this going to be the time I can't come down? Like I can't come down, but then I always end up coming back down. It's the weirdest dream, but I have it all the time.
Have you done any hypnosis around that at all?
Not yet.
No. And I told him to do the self-hypnosis and do like, set the intention tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a dream about this, and I want to, do this. But then he always forgets to do it.
Right.
He's like, how do I do it again? I'm like, I tell him right before bed, okay, so do this, set your intention, take 3 deep breaths, blah, blah, blah.
Give him an audio. Just give him an audio.
Yeah.
Make him a tape.
That's a good idea.
I'll record it.
I have a tape. It's 20 minutes long, but I mean, have Monique do it if you're used to her voice.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
I'm just going to, before he falls asleep, whisper in his ear, set your intention, take 3 deep breaths.
Right?
Go over the instructions.
Honestly, I get it, because like doing self-hypnosis, sometimes I just pass out. Like I'll be in bed and I'll start to do it, and then I just fall asleep, and I wake up the next morning, I'm like, dang it.
I actually got myself last night. I never had to tell you this, but I got myself to go back to sleep when I woke up. Because I'm a horrible sleeper. And when I wake up, I'm wide awake. And I usually have to put on a TV show or something so I could fall back asleep, because I can't just fall asleep. And last night I was able to fall asleep by doing the Blue Rose. I was like, oh wow, this actually it worked.
When he remembers to do it.
When I remembered to do it, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain words, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we use certain
hypnosis
words.
is great. Yeah, hypnosis is great. It can do it can't do anything, but it can do a lot. it can do so much. And I think it's underutilized in Western civilization. I really do.
It is. And one of the things I've noticed, I've seen, and maybe just because I'm more aware now, but I've seen like people talk about like, oh, I'll teach a hypnosis class. And it's like, well, who are you to be teaching hypnosis? And that's one of the things that worries me is like some of the people, it's like anyone can learn how to hypnotize somebody, but it's like once you get in, what are you doing?
What are you going to do with it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's like for me, why I wanted to get a certification, why I wanted to go somewhere where it was really good information. Like I'm learning as much as possible because like there are courses where like you do it in a day.
I've been seeing that more and more like in Facebook ads and stuff. And that's kind of freaking me out. Like this, like you'll learn how to, you'll probably get a script, but in one day, I can't even imagine learning everything I've learned in the last year and a half or more through like practical work with clients and my friends and volunteers and actually like studying and reading. Oh my gosh, how much reading and how many lectures have we, right?
She's
like
always reading some book or something.
My coffee table has like about, I think 12 books on hypnotism. And I'm just like constantly circulating. You can't learn this stuff because it's in a day. It's just, I think that's such a disservice.
Like we've spent hundreds of hours.
Hundreds. I mean, and it's, anyways, humans are going to human.
Oh yeah. But it just made me think of that. It's like
do.
anyone can do hypnosis, but it's like when you get in, that's where it's like, that's what makes the difference. And like we've just discussed before, it's like, it makes me worry. And obviously like people are going to do what they're going to do, but I look at it like, you know, I have the person's best interest in mind. So I want to make sure I have all the tools on my belt as possible. And like, I'm going to do everything I can to give them the best experience possible. But then I'm like, oh my God, there are people who learn how to do it on YouTube and they're charging. Oh my goodness.
There's a morality and ethics thing that needs to definitely be considered. And I think your internal moral compass, check in. Like, where you at?
And that's why like anyone listening, like you know, if you want to go through somebody else for hypnotherapy, that's awesome. Just be careful like with who you go through. Like
be discerning.
Yeah. If your gut's telling you, I like when people give free consults because it gives you a chance to see, because like somebody can be excellent at what they do, but your energies might not match.
Right.
And so it's a good way to feel people out. So like, you know, we give free consults and I like when people do that because sometimes it's like, I really like you, but I don't know if I feel this.
Right.
You know, and obviously it's like you want to go with somebody you have a good connection with and you have a good energetic feeling with. So that's why I like when people
definitely do a consultation with your with the hypnotist before engaging, and anyone really. And you and I both do them.
Yeah. And if your gut is giving you a bad feeling, don't get pressured to schedule. Like, don't.
Yeah. I've had a lot of consultations even on my end where the person, we get 10 minutes in and they tell me like, I really like you. I like your energy. I want to work with you. But also there's been times where in my mind, I would never say this, but in my mind, I'm thinking I'm not the right person for you. And that's fine. And I think it's also important to be discerning on both ends, like as the client and as the hypnotist, to be like, is this the partnership? Is this the relational energy that I want to engage in? It's almost, you know, like choosing, you know, you're choosing a professional to work with you, you know, on a very intimate level.
I feel like I'm like probably turning people away because I'm like, I'm not going to let you schedule with me right now. I want you to think about everything we've gone over. Make sure you're ready to do this. Make sure you're ready and make sure I'm a good fit. Because like for me personally, did you ever like go somewhere and like you spend time with somebody and they kind of like pressure you like, well, we've spent all this time and like you have to like go with them and like give them your money. And I hated that because I would feel bad on it. Well, I did, you know, take up a lot of their time. And even though you don't want to go forward, it's like, it's that uncomfortable feeling. And I never want anyone to feel like that.
Right.
So I'm always like, nope, think about it, you know, take at least a day or two, let it process about everything we talked about. And then if you're ready, if you schedule, if you don't want to schedule, no worries. I'm not offended because like, I don't want people like to feel guilted. And then I think like, am I giving people a bad vibe by being like, oh no, don't schedule with me. It's like, but I don't know. I always want to give people an out. Like if they're not comfortable, I don't know. I want to make sure that they have that, because I've been in opportunities where I didn't get that. So
yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
And I give them a little gift. Like if you do a consult with me, I give you like a little hypnosis audio, and I'm like, listen to this, because this will either help you prepare for a session with me, or it'll help you prepare for a session with somebody else, or it'll help you decide that maybe this is not the route for you, and you want to explore some other options. Because yes, hypnotism is amazing. Hypnotherapy is just, it can do so many things for so many people on so many levels, but it doesn't mean it's the modality. I mean, not everybody needs the same vitamin. Not everybody needs the same, not everyone needs hypnotherapy. Yeah. A lot of people, I believe, do, but not everyone needs it.
Yeah. And some people, if, they might just want to do like past life regression just for the fun of it, that's okay.
And that's fine too. Sometimes I get a lot of people who come to me who are like metaphysical, and they are meditators, and they just want to talk to their higher self. They just want to have an experience, a spiritual experience. And I'm more than happy to give you a spiritual experience. I consider that almost shamanic work, but there's no medicine, psychedelics, drug, nothing involved. It's clear and clean. You're lucid, so I consider what we do shamanic work,
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah,
we're journeying these people. We're soul retrieving. We're we're doing.
Even when you think about like going into somebody's past life who suffered trauma and like cutting that, and saying like it stays here. It's not coming back to the present life. Like closing that door so it can't follow. Like that is so healing. And yeah. Ooh, as I bang my microphone, but yeah, I'm so clumsy, but yeah, no, I never thought of it that way, but
yes, you are.
You're adorable.
I'm as graceful as a rhino. Thank you.
I am I would probably like spill my drink on me within the, like if I was like had a microphone in front of me, I'd hit my drink on it and it'd go off my shirt and be like, well, that's the show.
You know what? I think since I've been in high school, I've been saying I'm as graceful as a rhino, because I just own it. I know I'm clumsy, and I was like, I'm just going to embrace it.
Words are important, right? That's what hypnotism teaches you. Words are important. How you self-talk is so important.
But for me, it's a fun thing.
I was like, I'm as graceful as a ballerina or whatever, something like that. If you started changing the narrative, watch how fast your behaviors change. Self-talk is so important.
You're absolutely right. But I look at it like it's fun. And like, think about rhinos.
Totally.
Rhinos are tough.
So then look at yourself like that, right? And that's exactly right. Rhinos are freaking badass.
They are.
They're pretty
tough.
Deadly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But they're cool.
They
cool.
are. So yeah.
Never seen one actually.
They have that thick skin, but I'm sure they're sweethearts inside. Really nice to get to know.
And I wanted to say that like one of the most important things, it wasn't the class we were in together, Monique, it was somebody else, but one hypnotist had taught me that. He's like, words are everything. And how you talk to a person, a client, or how you talk to a person like you and I, like you guys podcast, I mean, words, how you talk to your kids, how do you talk to yourself? Words mean so much, on a subconscious level too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like, so I'll be like, words are hard because sometimes like you say things, but you don't think about what it really means when you say it. And what then it's like, yeah. And that's why I wanted to do like inner standing, because we had an episode called Words Are Hard, and we talked about like words and like what do they really mean, and understanding you're standing under. And I was like, yeah. And so it was actually Alex who brought up inner standing.
I love that.
And I was like, yes. And I just take it like, yeah, we take that information and we hold it within us, and it's like, you hold it within you, you take it in.
And you say this on your website, you're not standing under. You're understanding. You're not standing under, right? It's inner. It's within. It's not under.
And it brings us to the same level.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what word I love is enlightenment, because enlightenment is being in light, right?
Yes.
Or if you're fulfilled, you're filled full. So this is so fun when you read the books that it used to be a trilogy. It's probably more than that now, but Conversations with God. That was the best spiritual book I've ever read. Conversation with God. There's 3, I think maybe 4 now, but the first 3 are gold. And the God or the source or whatever this person is speaking with through meditation plays with words like that. Fulfilled. You're filled full. You're in light. You're in the light. You're enlightened. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so we had a guest on, Dave J, a wonderful person. And we were talking about words. And like, when you think about the words you say, and like, for example, thankful, you're full of thanks, but he'll spell it F-U-L-L. And I'm like, I freaking love that. Right. I was like, yeah. So like the typo thing always comes up, like, you spelled this wrong. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm full. F-U-L-L of thanks.
I'm full of thanks. Right. Yes. Thankful. Words are so cool in the English language. Yeah. So like, definitely if you're intrigued by that conversation, pick up that book. Yeah. Because it's just fascinating stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Are there any other? Oh, that's so cool. Is there any other stories you want to share with us before we wrap up?
Okay. All right. So I'll do this one because this is the one I tell a lot. And I tell it because if you don't believe in past life regressions, this story to me, in my opinion, validates them. Here's what happened. So, and it's a hard one to tell because it's kind of convoluted, but here we go. I'll do my best. And then you can just kind of help me out if you get lost. So last summer when I was like doing, work with my friends, and I had 3 women this is 3, I did 4, 3 fingers, 3 women last year who were good friends of mine. And we were all very much in the metaphysical, and Monique, you would just like love these girls. Like, oh my gosh. I hope they listen to this. And so there's so much with these girls. And I mean, I could go on and on with stories because I did so many sessions with them in the beginning, and they really helped me develop. One had a recurring dream, and we went through that. One would have a future UFO abduction. That was cool. That's a progression, not a regression. And what? Then, yes, one of them saw an attachment to a person that I was close with. Like, I mean, it's just like all over the place. But the story is this. 2 of these girls, 2 of them, these are totally separate sessions, about 2 weeks apart, and no, they did not discuss their sessions with each other until after. Okay. So what happened was the first girl, she had a session where she's in the 50s, maybe 60s. I have no idea. It's America. I just don't know where. Maybe the Midwest, maybe South Midwest, who knows? Plains area, lots of flat road maybe, because she's in a truck. So she goes through her whole life, and her death scene is this. She's in an old car, and there's a truck coming. Okay. And they're on this old country road, and they're driving down this country road, and they're in the car together. She's there with another girl to her right. And there's a truck coming, and the truck hits them and then keeps going along. Well, the girl dies immediately, and her friend's in the passenger seat, right? So then, and that's her death scene. I think nothing of it. We move on. 2 or 3 weeks later, I do another girl from our friend group. And in hypnosis, she actually goes to that same time period, that same area, but she's actually now the friend that was in the car of that death scene. So when I take her to her death scene, she's in the same car on the same road, and the same truck is coming towards her. So of course I'm asking, like, what's the truck look like? What color is it? What style is it? What model is it? I really want, I'm like, I want to affirm this, if this is actually happening, if God's giving me this session. And I'm like, and then, so this is the sad part of it though, is like, so the car accident happens, and the driver girl died immediately. Well, the passenger girl did not die immediately. She died slowly over hours. And so when you're in hypnotism, you just move it along. Like time is not linear anymore. So you can just kind of be like, okay, now move forward until you take your last breath, move forward until you transition out of your body. And so she literally was the passenger, and she saw her friend, already deceased in this car, truck is gone. And she just sat in that car, slowly bleeding, slowly dying. And as the sun's setting, it's getting darker and darker and darker. And then finally she did die. And so afterwards, these two girls currently, I took them together and I was like, do you understand that you both died together in a past life? And you both had, what's the word? I want to say mirroring, but it's not mirroring. And they were both like
they were like parallel.
They were in the experience together, but in different perceptions of the same experience, the same death. One died immediately, one died slowly. And it was just that, to me, if anything, was absolute evidence or proof or something to me that this stuff is fantastic. This stuff is wild.
Wow.
Go ahead, Alex.
No, I'm just wow. That's all I got.
It's
like,
cool. It's cool.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what are the, wow.
Right? What are the odds?
What are the odds? What are the chances of that? Yeah. Like, now you say, somebody skeptical listening could go, well, you say they didn't talk to each other about their sessions, but
sure,
did they?
For sure.
You know
Maybe.
what I mean? Like, who knows? But regardless, just just that whole scenario is just,
the whole thing is incredible.
Yeah. Wow.
And we had sessions with these same girls where they would be talking. So after they go through the death scene of a past life, I would move them then to the afterlife. And I had one girl move into an afterlife where she was a ghost. And I was like, okay, well, the ghost just was haunting. Well, the reason the person became a ghost is because they died with so much regret, leaving a wife and a young child behind. And this was back in the 1700s. Like, this is back in the time period when the husband died, like it was a big deal. So she's currently a woman now, but she as a man had such remorse and such regret for dying and leaving this family, abandoning this family, that she just stuck around as a ghost. And from a hypnotist perspective, I was like, okay, so what do you do next? And then what do you do next? And the ghost literally doesn't do a lot. Ghosts don't do a hell of a lot. And at least this one didn't. And then finally I was trying to help this ghost transition over to the next life, because she's currently in a body now. So she transitioned, right? So there's that. And then sometimes when I transition them into the next life, into the afterlife, they meet their spirit family. And I once had a girl tell me she could see me in her soul family. She's like, you're right over there. I can see you. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm right there? She's like, well, when I pass, like, you're in my soul group. Like, she was explaining it as like when you die. And I've had other people in, not my own, but I've read this in books before from other clients of hypnotists, that you get you have a soul family, and your soul family, you kind of like, you have lives with them. And sometimes your lives with them, like you and Alex could be in a soul family, you are, and you're married right now. But in the next life, Monique could be a young boy, and Alex, you could be still up in the ether, kind of like hanging out in the ether until you're ready to come down. So it's very interchangeable. It's very non-linear. It's very, I guess, etheric. It's like, it's interesting. So you have a soul family, you have layers of soul family, and then you have guides and higher selves. And I've had guides come through, and I've asked them questions about the current world events, COVID, the government, the Trump election, the controversies, Black Lives Matter. And so we get insights from these spirit guides. And then sometimes people go back to the source, like you did, Monique. You go back to source. Some people go into the future. I've gone into the future before. I saw myself in a wall tent in the desert somewhere, and I mean, that's where I was last weekend, in a wall tent in the desert. So who knows, but
that's amazing. So one thing that I want to bring up before I completely forget about it is you and I are doing something awesome. Yes. And so we'll announce it now. So Karlene and I are together going to have a monthly Zoom meeting for those interested in hypnotherapy metaphysical, mystical things called mystical meetups. And it's about an hour-long Zoom meeting where Karlene and I will share information about hypnotherapy. We'll share stories, personal stories, and we'll also give people a chance to answer questions. And each month we're going to have a different topic. So our first month, we're going to talk just kind of like general hypnotherapy, but we'll get more, have like 1 month, we're going to talk about life between lives or past life regression or spirit attachment. So there's a whole number of things we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So if you want to know about this, so we're going to cap it, right? We're going to cap these Zoom meetings to 20 people. It is free, but just 20 people at a time. And just to keep things kind of intimate and let people like kind of talk to us, have it. And it's totally free because we want people to learn and be educated. And then they can make a decision about, well, what do they want? You know, do they want an experience? Do they not want an experience? They want healing, or maybe they're just curious. It's for basically anybody. We announce it in our newsletters and on our social media on the first of the month. And then these are always held, I believe we said the second Tuesday of the month. So whatever that falls on. So, and we will have a sign up through an Eventbrite link, and we'll put that link in the newsletter. So we send it on the first. So if you're not on our newsletters, you need to go to our websites. And on our websites, at the bottom of my homepage, you can sign up for my newsletter. Monique, they can sign up for a newsletter for you.
Yes, I have my Tarot by Monique newsletter, and you can go to my tarotbymonique.com and sign up there for my newsletter.
Awesome.
But I think we should do something for podcast hearers and watchers. I think I should include the link for people to kind of get first.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And if you want to go to our websites too, mine's rootswingshypnosis.com, rootswingshypnosis.com. In your website?
Innerstandingshypnosis.com. So I'm going to keep all the links in the show notes, and on YouTube and Brighteon, it'll be there. So people will have that information right there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add about that?
And I was just going to say, we're going to be rotating topics. There's going to be Q&A. There's going to be, we're going to be talking about topics you guys want to talk about. And on the first, when we send this newsletter out, that's your chance. It's first come, first serve to sign up. It is free. And what else? And one thing I'm kind of throwing off the cuff here is that like, we will probably be exploring doing group regressions and group hypnosis regressions, because those are actually really fun to do. Monique and I participated in them before. Monique, I believe you've done them before, and they're really fun to have like a little group on Zoom. You're in the privacy of your own home, you're hanging out, and you just kind of put your headphones in, you lay down, tune the family out for an hour or so, and then go into a past life regression session. And it's really cool. And right now we're not charging for mystical meetups. So I would recommend getting into it if you're curious about what we talk about.
Yeah, it's just a nice option for people to learn more. And there's no judgment. So if people are truly curious and they want to know about it, we look at it like we're here to answer questions. We're here to help you discover if this is a good path for you. And that's what it's about. And maybe, hopefully you take something positive away from the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be really fun. I think it's just fun to just feed your curiosity at the very least,
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for this.
I'm really excited to offer this. I really wanted to do this. And I was so happy when Monique was on board to do it with me, because I didn't want to go it alone. I wanted to have someone and you and I, we talk so well together. We just kind of like, we can go for hours. Like I just looked at the time and I'm like, how is it almost 2 hours of chatting? Like
it has.
Like seriously, like Monique's easy to talk to. And when she and I get going on this stuff, I mean, we just like, if we were meet in person, it's going to be like a day and a half of just talking.
Forget about it.
Oh, maybe that's why you moved. Like we met after you moved, because you and I would like, Alex would be like, where are you? I'm like, oh, I was with Karlene and we were just talking and the time got away from us.
It does. It literally does. We get chatty about this stuff because we're excited. We're passionate.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. We are passionate.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Damn it. I love it. Karlene, how can people find you?
Okay. So
share your happiness.
I was just going to say, I loved meeting Alex. Like I'm so This
It
is a
was
very big
awesome
deal.
to meet you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here and doing this with us.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
I
you very
loved
much.
this. This is so fun. All right. So I'm on rootswingshypnosis.com. You go there and on the top right-hand corner, you'll see all my social media stuff. We do have an Instagram. It's roots_wings_sage. That's Instagram. I have a private Facebook group where people can ask questions, and I post all my YouTube stuff there. I am on YouTube. It's Roots and Wings Hypnosis with Aerial Yoga Girl, because I kind of still am Aerial Yoga Girl, but I mean, she's still kicking, but you know, she's just doing different stuff now.
Yeah.
So you can find me in all those different modalities.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karlene.
Yeah, this has been awesome.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
And hopefully some people will join us for
Yeah.
our first mystical meetup.
Yes.
Yeah.
First one is in September. So sign up
Rock
for our
and roll.
newsletters.
Yes.
We'll have the links here, and just sign up for our newsletters. Find us. Okay.
Absolutely. Karlene, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. This was so fun. All right.
It
Have a
was.
great Friday.
You too. Love
too.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that was fun.
That was so much fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A great conversation.
Yeah, I love speaking with Karlene. I mean, her and I, we said it, we can just all like for hours, but I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to have friends to talk to.
Yes, friends are good
Yeah.
for sure. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing how your mystical meetups
Yeah.
going.
And I want to say that was Karlene's idea. That was something that was totally her creation, that she invited me to, you know, co-host with her. And
That's awesome.
yeah. And I take it because like her and I feel like we're so much on the same page with so much. And we're both like, man, we just want like to share like this information and like show people this awesomeness. And I just realized I wanted to talk to her about dragons and I totally forgot. So I might have to have her back on.
She's just gonna have to come back on again.
Yeah.
That's
So we can talk about dragons.
That's all there is to it. Because I mean, there was some stuff that I think you had taken some notes that I looked at with you, and we didn't get to.
Yeah, we
any
didn't
of
touch
it.
base on everything.
So
But
it's
that's
fine.
like our show. It's like we'll make notes about things like we'll want to mention, but when you get going in conversation, it's like that's fun, and we just want to have a good conversation with people.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Whenever we have guests on, it's kind of you kind of have an idea of what you want to talk about most of the time, but I mean, conversations are conversations, and if it's going in a good direction, then why mess with it?
Yeah.
That's my philosophy on it anyway. And I mean, that's the type of podcasts and conversations I like to listen to. I mean, yes, it's great if you have like structure for certain things, but for when you're
We're not
talking to
structured,
somebody, I
really,
mean, yeah, come on.
Yeah. I don't like the whole rigid interview kind of thing. Not my style.
I mean, it's not for everybody. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's just, I feel like it's more natural this way. And
and hopefully you enjoyed it too.
It's enjoyable for us.
Yeah.
We hope you do enjoy it as well if you're
Yeah.
listening or watching.
And I just want to give a big thank you to Karlene for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank her again. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of fun. So, anything else you would like to mention before we wrap up?
No, but
this
well,
week?
yes, no, but then yes, I do want to mention something. Duh.
Make up your
I
mind.
know, right?
God.
Hearers and watchers, you get to sign up if you're interested for a mystical meetup with Karlene and I. For information about this, first one will be on general hypnotherapy. If you're interested, you get first dibs to sign up. It's a limited number. So if you're interested, take advantage of it.
Act fast.
Yeah.
Put on the glasses. Put on the fucking glasses. I want to get that t-shirt made. I got to figure out how to do
Okay.
something like
Yeah,
that.
get it made. For those not sure what we're talking about,
It's a callback to They
Yeah.
Live. We
Last
talked
week's
about
episode,
Yeah.
yes.
Hell yeah.
Great movie.
So awesome. So until next time, I am the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing trophy wife. You always give that smile every time I say that. It's awesome. The lovely Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker podcast.
Yeah, you have. I just had to throw that in there.
No worries. I'm not judging.
Feeling funny.
Good for you.
My microphone's still broken. I gotta fix this thing. I gotta fix it.
Oh my goodness.
Until next week. Watch. I'm even gonna let this record. Watch this. Look, just plops down. I have to hold it in place.
What did you do?
I don't know. It's awesome. I'm gonna hit stop.
This is why we don't have nice things, okay?
I'm hitting stop now.